everyone, this is Denise Love, and today I thought we could play again in the journal. I'm just determined to do, I'm determined to finish the journal, and even if we just work on different pages in the videos for however long I decide to stay in this journal, I think that would be fine. It's just going to keep on moving us forward in our art practice. But I was kind of thinking, just, looking at some of the other pages that we did. I'm going to come back to this page now that I'm looking at this even more. I've kind of decided how I could finish this side, so we'll definitely come back to this one. I'm also kind of thinking that we could cut this up and make it a flap. And I'm just going to do it because why not? And then what I have, the idea I have for the other side, you'll love it. So I'm just going to cut that out like we put it in, like it was a little flap. I could have done with a, look at that. Yeah. So now it's like a flap in here instead of a full page. I already kind of had this on my mind. So I thought, let's just do it. Let's just do it. And then it's kind of framed out a little bit, and it can fray a little bit. I'm okay with the fraying. I don't mind that. And it'll just kind of do its own thing as time goes on, and it could just fray some more, and I'd be okay with that. You could take some fray check, F-R-A-Y, check, C-H-E-C-K, that you get at the fabric store, and you could add fray check to the edges, which is basically clear glue, and that would stop your edges from fraying if that was something that bothered you. It's a sewing thing. You can save these for some texture on something else later. But now that's pretty cool. Now we have a flap in here instead. So I like that. I can see some other bits kind of hanging out. I think that's just the stuff I was thinking about though. But now we have a flap. And on this side of the flap, I feel like I'm going to make a junk art collage, which would cover all of this up. So that is, I think, where I'm going there. So we'll see what I decide to do here. But I had that on my mind, and I thought I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do it. And I could come back here with a little bit of paint or some decoration, or like a ribbon of some artwork, and that we could glue down right there, not this piece here, but whatever I decide we could glue there, and it would really be a little flap. So I already had that in my mind. Just let's do it. Let's go back to this one. So I was kind of thinking, I put some wax paper down on this side so that hopefully we avoid painting that paper there that we've got, that we hadn't got to yet. But what I want to do, and if we paint on it, then it is what it is. I don't care. But what I was thinking, what if we took like the indigo ink and did like just a line drawing of maybe some branches, like a tree with some leaves, something like that. I mean, it might not work, but we're going to give it a try. And is the indigo dark enough? Can't remember if that's what we used over here or not. I feel like it was. Let me get a little piece of scrap paper and just see. Oh yeah, that's what we used. I feel like it's shining blue in my light. So what if we just kind of come and just draw some branches? I'm not looking for anything in particular. You could do this with whatever drawing media you kind of feel comfortable working with, but I like the ink because we did that over here some, and I just thought, that might be a fun way to kind of, pull that in for us. Oh, I like that. And, you might could take a paintbrush and kind of, I don't know, like paint these in maybe, but I'm kind of feeling like just the line drawing would be okay for me. And I'm not looking for perfection here. I'm just looking for that to be the finish of the spread. And if you've got an ink dauber that doesn't work as good, or you need something to do that with that you can soak up in it, a pipette is perfect. So definitely give this fun thing a try. I'm hoping, and it may not, I'm hoping though that the ink kind of sits on the one side, but it might soak through. So if it does, then we'll plan on doing another little kind of collage or junk art where we cut up another piece of art and kind of glue it down. We'll do something like that on the other side. So I already was kind of thinking that for that other piece, and definitely kind of feeling like that would be good for this piece too if we needed to. So it might soak all the way through, it might not, we'll see. So I'm kind of liking that. We could do some big botanical in there also if we wanted to. We could pull another color. Maybe this brown. Oh, or we could pull maybe white. Maybe white dots in here would be good. Like maybe it's spring blooming. So like just some little, like it could be some. See, now this one is one that's something sticking, so I'm gonna use my pipette since I just brought it up. Let's do it. But these could be like little cherry blossoms or something like that. Just something that implies that we've got maybe some little spring blooming possibly. We could even do like a little bit of a pink center on some of those. That might be pretty. My ink is making little bubbles. I don't have any pink ink out, so maybe we'll just play and see if I do anything with like a little stabillo. Would that give me a little bit of pink? And it kind of does. Look at that. It's just kind of fun to play. Like any thought that you have, like what if, just see, is that going to work? Could you get a little bit of color in there where maybe you didn't have the same supply? I'm curious how much is soaking through. Oh yeah, it's definitely soaking through. So I will definitely be doing some kind of collage or some old art or something there on the back of that. So that was good to at least experiment a tiny bit. You can even pull a little bit of green in here just as a hint. It doesn't have to cover the whole thing, but I like it. Just a suggestion. And then we could even pull out like some little green tiny pieces that are coming up later, like little sprouts of leaves. How about that? I'm totally going way further on this than I intended. I intended to just do a line in the black and not even put the color. But then as I'm working, I'm like, would this work? Let's just test it out. So getting a little off of my original thought here, but that's okay. I'm liking it. Now I'm kind of thinking, could we do a little bit of stencil work in there now that I know it's soaking through to the back anyway, and just get a little bit of flower on there? This is the 6x6 Crafter's Workshop. Nope, that's script dots. Okay, I'll find the link to this and link a little flower one underneath. But now I'm like, you know, maybe a little bit would kind of work, or maybe not. Just kind of throwing ideas out there, because I do like the flower ones. But I don't want it to become kitschy kind of, so maybe not. Maybe we're going to go ahead and live with this as a lovely little branch piece to complement our abstract piece, and possibly go back into one of our other pieces and finish it off. So I was already kind of thinking on the other side, I'm going to let this dry a bit, but I was already kind of thinking on that other piece that I cut to do like a junk art collage over here, and then whatever colors are over there, we can be inspired by that over here, but still hopefully kind of matching color-wise possibly what we already did here. So I'm going to go look in my junk bin and see if there's something that maybe I want to glue to this side, and I'll be right back while we're letting this dry. Alright, so I don't know if this is 100% dry or not. I could hit it with the heat gun, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and protect it with some wax paper for now, because even if we squish some of it, it's not going to change the look for me. And I think I'm going to go right over here. And I've got some ideas. I was kind of pulling stuff out of my junk bin. Let me put these inks out of the way. And this is art that I've made, and maybe it wasn't my favorite, or maybe it was like something I was playing on. But I've pulled out I've got a whole I put these all in a clear Rubbermaid tote, then put it in the closet, because then I can come back out anytime I want. And I have just some little weird raw canvas pieces that I painted at one time, and I was kind of thinking that one of this could be the little stripe right here. I could get a piece or two, and that could be my little fun stripe that I was thinking. And because it had the colors of this like almost perfectly with the purple and the green, I'm kind of feeling like we should just glue that right there and let that be the edge of this piece. What do you think of that? Do you totally hate it? I don't hate it. I like it. Kind of thinking we could even come a little bit further over, and it could be a flap that we look at. Let's just cut it right here and see if we even like it. Because we could also, I don't know if it'll let me, oh, it kind of will, like we could shred it a little bit. Kind of like I was hoping the edges here would do. We could totally unweave it and do a little shred here. Oh, that's kind of fun. I don't know if you can see that little bit there, but that's super fun there with that. So I'm kind of feeling like right there, and then this could actually come on down. Is this the same size? Pretty close. And just kind of keep it going to the edge there. And I like how it goes from purple to this kind of greenish color, which we see right there. And I just think it's fun. Oh, there we go. That was fun. I think I'm going to, yes, paste that in. I like it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I just like it. And it gives kind of like it's a book cover, and this was the book edge. That could kind of be what that's saying there. That could have been the book edge. And maybe we just put that book cover down there. Okay, so I'm just looking for my plastic knife. I'm using my Yes Paste because it's my very favorite glue, especially on something like this because it's nice and thick. It'll take a while to dry, but that's fine. It's nice and thick, and you just put it on here like frosting. And this has been my favorite for several years, and it's my favorite for collaging along with some good heavy matte medium. Really depends on how thick your paper is as to how thick you need your glue to be. But you know, when you're doing collage work with old pieces of art, the paper is generally thicker than if you made your own collage papers out of tissue paper. So I do like having this very heavy glue, and it's repositionable for a minute. It does take a little bit to dry, but man, it's the best. And now it'll look like we have an old book that we have disassembled and put in here. That's kind of the feeling I feel like that looks like. And I'm not looking for perfection, so don't get hung up on, is it perfect, is it straight, is it completely even? It's more like, it's just a cool look as we're flipping through. So that's a fun use for maybe some old canvasy pieces. I may pull those back out. But what I was thinking for, like even this other side, I have some pieces that have purple in them. And if you go far enough back in my videos, you'll recognize some of these. So see, I do save them. Alright, so I kind of think on this side that maybe, and that glue does come through, I can feel it. So we definitely want to pull that off of this page if we're not wanting to glue that onto that page yet. But I'm thinking we could cover this with maybe some striped collage art, and then if some of this shows through, it doesn't matter. And because I can feel that glue, I definitely need, and this is just dry wax paper. I've got a thing of this over here in my cabinet. You get it at the kitchen store. They wrap sandwiches, butcher paper, any of that you get from the kitchen department that you use in cooking. Do I got it all the way? I don't want to bleed into my art and the page stick. Okay. Yeah, but it's like you could use wax paper, any of that. Okay, so I feel good about that. And I'm kind of thinking we could stripe it with shades of purple, maybe. Like I can see I don't have enough, but now that I've got the colors going, I could also get away from purple and do bright colors. I did pull out some brighter ones in here that we could consider. Or I could do stripes of different colors like that. So I really like this, but I don't know if I have enough of any one thing. I want to go wall to wall there. Ooh, those are fun. Does that kind of match what we did before? Maybe. Here's a bigger piece. I think this was on that kind of paper. I kind of like that. Don't know if I like it bookended with these, but we could cut that into stripes and then separate that out. Okay, let's see. All right, let's get our cutter here and see what we want to slip into these. Alright, so I'm just going to do this randomly. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exact. I just like that this one has a lot of marks. And it's got some little botanical leafy things. And it's got this yummy edge. I even like that edge. And this is completely different paper than that. I think this might be that Cotty paper project I did a while back, but we could kind of slip that in there, or might not have enough contrast. What do you think? Do we want to contrast that with something else? I don't know if I'm feeling that as the contrast. Maybe this. Maybe the pink. Do we like the pink as the contrast? Let's cut one of these out and see. I like that this one still has this yummy. This was a big piece of watercolor paper, like the big thick stuff. Oh yeah, this is like the big thick stuff. It didn't even cut all the way. Oop, there we go. Let's just do that. I can cut that with my scissors. It must have been one of the great big sample ones I was trying. So do we like this contrasting in there? I don't know. I like that this has darker color. Let's just tear that out there. Make this a little longer. We'll just tear it. Doesn't have to be perfect. I like that on the bottom. Could have a pink in there. That's kind of fun. You know, you could have it matching better than I'm matching. I'm not really wanting matchy so much as, you know, maybe some contrast, maybe. Actually, that's at the very edge. Ooh, I kind of like that. What do you think of that? You might be thinking, whoa, but you can take more time on your piece, pull out the perfect pieces, wait till you have the perfect pieces, but I'm kind of feeling that I like the way this is going. And if we leave a little edge in between these, and then we have some of that texture shining through, I think that looks fine too. And that'll take care of any bleed through and incorporate it into our piece. Let's just go for it. You know, on these things where I'm playing and experimenting, I'm not trying to be perfect and get everything exact. If this were something where I'm like, okay, this is my super serious piece, let's take a little more time, pull things together perfectly and so that everything's exactly as I want it, you know, then spend more time looking and picking out and judging and deciding. I like working a little faster than that sometimes in my experimentation, because then I don't get hung up on perfectionism. If you just pick something and say go, then you don't get stuck in not finishing a piece or not worrying if it's completely perfect. You know, all the things that kind of stop us from getting finished with some of the things that we're trying to do. I'm trying to not get stuck there. And so I'm good working a little faster, it not being perfect, and then I can say, aha, now I know what I'm going to take forward and what part of that I want to use in a project. I think I'm gonna cut short here because they're sticking in that edge, and if I don't close the book, we might not get that to stick down for good. I might put a heavy book on top of it for a while and then let it kind of do its thing so that it is actually attached later. Okay, let's go here. And if you're cutting glue with your scissors, make sure you got something close by that you can wipe that glue off of your scissors before they dry. You don't want to... So I got baby wipes over here that I can kind of wipe glue off. Just be careful not to cut yourself, but I don't want to have the glue dry permanently. But see, I can come now after this is dry and I can set something here, and then that will allow both sides of this to dry up. And then the next time we come look at this page, we should be good to maybe paint on this page. And I'm not worried about getting anything on this page because I hadn't even got to that page yet. So anything I get on it, we can cover up later. Just not worried about it. Trying not to be precious with my supplies. Like, I'm just not precious with my stuff, actually. Because if you're too precious with it, you get stuck. And you don't want to mess it up. And you don't want to do something that's not going to look good. And maybe you don't ever even start working in it because you're like, oh, I'm scared of it and I don't want to mess it up. And so I have gotten to the point where now, if I'm afraid to mess it up, then I buy two. That way I have another one and one's not messed up, so I can mess up one. It's like you gave yourself permission to mess it up. And two, I try to work faster and I do it while I'm talking so that I can't get hung up on any one part for super long because I know I'm filming, and that kind of releases me of that pressure in my mind. You know, you can't think too hard while you're talking. You should try it. You should pretend you're filming a video, talk your way through your project, and you can see you can't get too hung up or stuck or stressed about it. And if you'll move a little faster, give yourself a time limit. So like with videos, maybe I'm thinking, ooh, I got to keep this under 30 minutes or something like that. Then let's get the glue off of our knife. If you give yourself a timer, then you're racing the clock and you're less likely to, again, get stuck and stressed about what you're working. So try that. If you don't want to talk the way through your piece, set yourself a timer so that you can't spend too much time on one thing. All right, let's clean our glue off of our piece here. Be careful not to cut yourself. So now we've committed. It is what it is. We're gonna like it whether, and I do actually love this page here. So this feels like a book cover to me, and this feels like a piece of collage. So I'm gonna stick a heavy book on this, or even maybe just set this here and close this up so that it can dry, and then we'll be ready to attack this page with something, maybe in these colors, or maybe a big abstract. I'm kind of feeling maybe in complementing colors that complement the other side there. So that was a super fun paint day. I feel like we accomplished a lot actually with this piece and this piece. Oh, I love those. And we're gonna let those kind of sit there while we go back and look at the other piece that we did today and just see. Oh, see, we didn't even mess it up. That piece is pretty cool, so I like that. I'm gonna call this one okay and finished for the moment. And I'm gonna let these dry. I hope you enjoyed painting these with me today, and I can't wait to see what you're working on. Don't forget I have a Facebook group for art people that you're welcome to join. I'll link that below in the description. If you love watching these with me and seeing how the different pieces of art progress, like this journal, I'm gonna work the journal until we got a finished book. Then definitely hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.